And that bestial hatred is perhaps best represented by Taurox. Ruinous Insight here, welcoming you to part 1 of a brand new modded Total War Warhammer 3 campaign. Old World mod plus SFO Beastmen. The community has voted on who will cast down the realms of men, and the Brass Bull it shall be. Taurox is a great choice in the Old World. He has a much more fun start, smack dab in the center of everything. He can choose to raid and despoil wherever he damn well pleases, rather than in the Immortal Empires version where he's stuck in or near the Dark Elves. But before we can despoil in all directions, a couple of notes. If you enjoy this content and want to see it updated regularly, don't forget to drop your likes and comments for the algorithm down below, as scheduling, episode, and campaign length are tied to engagement. If you'd like to support the channel and are planning on buying games anyway, consider purchasing through one of our affiliate links in the description below. A huge shout out to the modders for giving us SFO and the Old World and thousands of hours of extra content, and lastly, the biggest shout out to you guys for your comments and support. YouTube's my hobby, I do it for fun after work, and your comments keep it fun and keep the channel alive. Anyway, we're going to take a quick look at the faction and difficulty setup, but do feel free to skip to gameplay if not interested via the chapters below. Now, Taurox is all about movement on the map, going from one battle to the next, getting momentum to move even further, and then getting rampage rewards from those successive battles. This ability, which is extremely powerful, will however be nerfed due to the greater distances in the Old World mod, so I think it'll make for a more interesting and difficult campaign. And Taurox also applies a stacking River of Blood effect in the provinces he fights in, which we'll see and cover a little bit later, and has a fiery explosion ability called Bloodbeast to do damage and clear his way of chaff. Otherwise, he's all about his bully boys, buffing Minotaur recruitment ranks, reducing their capacity costs, giving them Vanguard deployment for the entire faction, and increasing their weapon strength in his own army by 25%. That's about it for the Lord and faction. As for the difficulty settings, we're going with very hard, as I find that to be the sweet spot, and we're going to keep the AI stats modifier dialed up as far as it can go. We'll figure out what campaign goals we have as per your suggestions, as whatever the game essentially turns it into being, and I believe that's it. Let the goats bleat, let the bulls make whatever sound bulls make, all glory to the algorithm, and let's get to it. Alrighty, here we go. Taurox, apparently a bull of few words, but at this point I'm very much used to it. After Grimgor, who is perhaps an orc of even fewer words. I do have to wonder whether Taurox will be making pre-battle speeches, and we'll find out shortly with our first cinematic battle against Helmut Feuerbach. And just before we get started, however, quickly let's take a look at how they play. So when Taurox wins battles, he gets the River of Blood effects in the regions, which benefits Chaos forces. When he does multiple battles in succession, he builds momentum and acquires Rampage, which gives him particular rewards when you reach particular milestones of Rampage marks. He can raise herd stones like any beastman in conquered territories, which will allow him to create blood grounds and thus hunt and destroy things there to acquire marks of ruination, although rumination kind of also makes sense for beastmen, which unlock various things like army capacities and the ability to recruit units in higher capacity capacities. Lastly, we can use the dread acquired through battles to upgrade a bunch of things. It's capacity for units, it's the Confederation of Lords, essentially by force, and we'll be trying to rush the other Beastmen confeds as early and as quickly as possible, just to get the entire family raiding and raising. We got upgrades for herdstones and lots of stuff, basically, and even some items via the money. And of course, we'll take a better look at all that as we encounter it. Anyway, we have a hero that we've started with who has booze cravings. Passive ability, well, gives him perfect vigor, and too bad, and a little bit of extra leadership. And neither one, I think, matters all that much for a caster, but I suppose these are beast casters and they can fight, so vigor in SFO ain't too bad of a pickup. Taurox, you're about to get your first cinematic battle, but let's take a quick look at what stances you have available for you. Juggernaut Raiding gives you the Bestial Rage upgrade, or increased Bestial Rage, which is great, and we'll need to get our Bestial Rage up as high as possible to increase the growth. None of this, however, by the looks of it, will... Attribute Rampage increases unit gain per turn, experience gain for units. But we're forced into Rampage. Do we care about that? In the first battle? Probably not. You know what? Let's go for Gathering Herds. Rampage stance it is. Helmet, time to die. Close victory, apparently. They've got a cannon. Ooh. And some mortars. A single unit of great swords and outriders are going to be the big issues to deal with, but I'm sure Taurox will be able to gore them just fine. Away we go. Alrighty, here we go. Battle number 1 with Taurox. Obviously, we cannot really lose this, but we surely can have some fun with it. And look at this big boy. Man, is he gigantic. I wonder how his size compares to other types of monstrous infantry, and I'm sure we'll find out as we go. But yeah, a magnificent specimen of barely restrained violence. Okay, actually, that's not true. Grimgore is barely restrained violence. Taurox is more completely unrestrained violence. Anyway, he's going to charge directly for the enemy lines, uncaring of what range hits he may get in the process, and frankly, so is the entire Vanguard deployable army. Away we go. Alright, Ungors meeting the enemy swordsmen in battle, but here come the Minotaurs to help them out and rip through the ranks of the Empire's infantry. A Vile Tide comes out, actually that's Devolve, comes down upon the enemy with that little green rain-like effect, which I do like. It does help with the cinematic nature of some of these battles. Arrows from the Ungors arc overhead, smashing into the enemy crossbows, though the armor of the crossbowmen should keep them alive. It won't help as much against the Beastmen Warhounds, one of which will head towards the enemy Outriders to prevent them from doing additional damage and prevent them from running and annoying us as well, while the other heads directly towards the enemy crossbows and to silence those enemy mortars. Alright, now the dogs are among you, and they are good boys, beast boys or not, and they should be able to prevent you from firing long enough for Minotaurs or Ungors to get to you. Looks like I keep wanting to say Grimgore. Taurox is having a decent time fighting against the enemy Lord Helmet Feuerbach, and I don't believe the enemy Lord has any kind of chance. Tiny as he is in comparison. And ooh, very nice, charging on through. I don't even think we care that much about Helmet's presence, though he's lost only about 60 or 40% rather of his HP. The rest of his army is most definitely in trouble. The enemy greatswords have already been crushed by the press of Ungors and Minotaurs. And it looks like the enemy army will rout shortly. Another devolve comes down on the enemy, dealing both damage and reducing the enemy's leadership and physical resistance, and it looks like Helmet will be done for good. Well, maybe not for good, as I expect we will have to fight him at least one more time. As he does have a fair few amount of territories, but at the very least for this first battle, his army is out. And here's the legendary lore, immortal lore that leads to Elbeckland, so we'll be seeing him again. Ooh, an immediate potion of toughness. That is not a bad pickup. Now, the rampage there was a little bit of an issue for some of our warhounds, but otherwise I don't think it's all that concerning, at least not in these early game battles. Looks like we did okay on the Ungor damage. The Minotaurs obviously did much more, and by the looks of it, actually Taurox did the most damage out of everybody. Kind of impressed at the damage on the Bray Shaman, who only had his fists and staff to whack people with, and, well, I guess whatever other things Beastmen do, gore with their horns, bite. They probably have claws, despite, I mean, at least on their front arms, but anyway, I digress. He did good damage is what I'm getting at. Good damage for everybody. What do we have as options here? We can lose Bestial Rage, but gain Favor, which would enable us to build more upgrades for our War Herd. Devour Captives will heal us up a little bit, and then we can kill the captives to get additional Bestial Rage. Since Bestial Rage seems to give you additional growth, it seems like kill captives is probably generally the best way to go. And I think we're gonna do that here as well. We do still need to attack a nearby territory immediately. Can we do it with the units at this HP? I think we can. And just go for the kill captives. More Bestial Rage. Let's try to max it out ASAP. Alright, very nice, very nice. And how they play, well, we've already read that. I guess I ignored the fact that we have hidden encampments and can use the Beast Path / Underway-like ability, but frankly, those are a little bit self-explanatory. And we'll see them in action for those who aren't familiar shortly anyway. Momentum. So you lose a momentum mark every turn, and when you do a battle, you gain 2, apparently. Battles 1 and 2. So as long as we fight a battle every other turn, we shouldn't lose momentum, and thus shouldn't lose our rampage progress. And oh wait, Bloodthirsty Onslaught. It gives the passive ability Blood Greed to the entire army, but the Minotaurs already have Blood Greed. However, Gore Feast upgrade replaces Blood Greed with Gore Greed. Here's the question, I wonder if anybody knows this. Does the Blood Greed here stack with the Gore Greed that Taurox gives, or are they considered the same thing? That would be interesting. It also sounds pretty OP if it does work that way, but hey, who knows? Anyway, Krugenheim, you have barely anything in the way of defenders. I can't believe we didn't level off that first fight. That's with the additional unit XP. Actually, only the Warhounds leveled up. What do we have here? +5 melee attack and missile resistance when laying siege via the Ruination stance. I guess we're going for some Ruination. That's my favorite nation. Join the Ruination! I'm so stupid. We could auto-resolve this. We very well could. But at the same time, I think we're going to charge forth. Now, as I understand it, siege battles don't really work in SFO plus Old World in the sense that you can't do cinematics of them. I'm going to give this one a try nonetheless, but at the same time I'll comment over it, just in case it still doesn't work. So it'll work either cinematically or regular style battle. Alright, here we go. I am particularly curious about siege battles, and I guess we're going to find out whether they work or not. Taurox is going to head directly towards the enemy gatehouse. Honestly, I feel like if he builds up enough momentum, he should just be able to stave the entire door in by charging it. But hey, I guess we gotta work through it the old-fashioned way. I'm almost surprised that he doesn't have a bonus damage and, like, wall breaker or stuff. He feels like an angry enough bull to be able to smash a wall down just like a giant would be able to, especially with the gifts of the gods that he has. Anyway, it's gonna take a little bit of time to break through that gate, so we're just going to speed it up a little bit. Our units of various minotaurs are just going to hang out, and it looks like the enemy is unable to fire at them, so we're certainly going to take advantage of that. About halfway through the gate at the current time, and this is going to be sort of the moment of truth. Usually the bug with the siege cinematics was where the gate wouldn't get quite destroyed because the orders had been stopped, and then the entire battle went loin-shaped. The gatehouse is at 1.6k. Oh, come on, we're nearly through. And down goes the gate. Oh my. Well, at least that appears to be working, and once again, we are in the enemy settlement. They will not be able to hold the charging bulls as they head directly towards the enemy crossbows. There we go. And it's about to get bloody in here. Very nice swings from those rune-tortured axes of... is it tortured or tormented? Well, whatever. Doing something to axes. Ooh, and the effect on Taurox. He is very entertaining to watch fight, I do have to say, so I'm hardly surprised that he was chosen by community poll. He's a popular beast lord for good reason. And maybe we should get him some Khorne. Ooh, maybe we should try to get him some Minotaurs of Khorne. I wonder if when using Minotaurs of Khorne, we would be able to still get the buffs that he gives Minotaurs. I imagine not, but it would be really neat if he could. Anyway, we're into the settlement with our various Minotaurs. They should be able to hold off the enemy swords and stuff for a while, though one of them is at about half HP. The rest of our units are heading into the enemy settlement, starting to bring down the enemy units of spears, pikes, and swords by hitting them in the back and trying to prevent any enemy crossbows from firing by engaging them into battle. We're probably not going to be using Gors in really any army, other than obviously the Ungor Raiders, for much of the campaign, so we gotta enjoy them while we have them. Alright, nice devolve coming down, affecting so many of the enemy units, applying that leadership reduction and physical resistance, making us hit the enemy all that much harder. Arrow rain comes down with the rain of the devolve at the same time, and the enemy is trapped in here. In fact, our entire army is essentially trapping the enemy with Taurox right in the center, where he can axe things in all directions. He's just having the time of his life here. Alright, it may not be a particularly consequential siege, but I think Taurox appreciates what we've been able to do for him. Create a living arena, as it were, with him in the center. Very, very nice. And damn, he seems to have quite a lot of splash damage on him as well. So he seems to be working quite nicely as both a Lord Killer and an Infantry Blender at the same time. And I'm excited to see what kind of heights we can get him to. Not too many more heights in this particular battle, however, as the balance of power has shifted to about 80, maybe 85% in our favor. We peeled away one unit of Minotaurs to head up towards an enemy crossbow unit that was attacking us from high ground, but of course they have no chance standing against a unit of Minotaurs, shielded or not. Take a look at those shields. Oh, they're pretty nice. They got the, well, they got essentially the Beastmen symbol on them, and that's a bigger skull than you yourself have, sir. Either that's the skull of a very big Minotaur, or maybe something like a Jabberslythe or something. Not sure. If they all have skulls like as big, oh, it could be a Doombull skull, for example. Something like that. Anyway, the balance of power is shifting very rapidly in our favor. Yet another devolve comes down as the last of the enemy units that are holding out gets surrounded by Warhounds, and the Bulls charge in to crush them. sort of crushing them between a hammer and a hammer. No anvils to be found among the Beastmen armies. It's all hammer. Dwarfs, eat your beards out. Okay, I don't like the way that sounds. I'm just ignoring. I was trying to say some sort of dwarven version of eat your hearts out, but I I didn't say anything. Alrighty, now I know that first battle was very much auto-resolvable, but I wanted to test out against test a battle against a settlement just to see whether it would be working to do cinematics in this particular campaign for the sieges, and at the same time I wanted to see how effective we would be. Not much losses, so against similar battles we will probably auto-resolve, but obviously we will fight the good ones. Now this is going to be our first stone, I think, to raise, because we'll need to start collecting our marks of ruination. This makes us lose our first herdstone shard, but I believe we get it back up and running when we perform the ritual that is here. So, ooh, raise gives you bestial rage plus 10 as well. That ain't bad. And you get no bestial rage out of the raise in advance, so loot and raise better in some situations, it depends. Raise herdstone for now, which unfortunately takes all of our movement. Challenge completed. Slaughterhorn Tribe. By the will of the dark gods, the meteoric rock from which the herdstones were hewn once fell upon the world. By that same will, you have raised one in their name. Alrighty, so this gives us the equivalent of technologies for the Beastmen, wherein you have to perform challenges, win 5 ambush battles, perform 2 rituals of ruin. Hey, those are my favorite rituals. Hey, this gives us horde growth. Okay, we gotta get that up and running ASAP. Basically, to unlock things and techs, we will need to perform these challenges, which we will get to as soon as we can. For now, this is the only one available, so Plight of the No Horns gives us weapon strength increase against dwarfs, high elves, wood elves, dark elves, and men. Nice. Alrighty, now Taurox, you no longer probably need to be in this stance. Actually, out of curiosity, if we move into Hidden Encampment, is that better or worse for us? So, for example, 44 and 4, if we move out of here and we go into Hidden Encampment, we are at 46 and 3, meaning we heal more in a Hidden Encampment outside the settlement than we do in the settlement, which means we'll stay out there. Next, we'll probably want to build some Ungors with shields, and let's take a quick look at the rewards of Dread. So, we could unlock capacities for Ungor Herd with spears and Ungor Herd regular. We could also unlock Hounds of Pestilence and Razor Gore Herd, but we can't actually build those right now. We can only build these 2 Gore types. Which could very well be a decent thing to do. Heads on Spikes gives us a plus 25 Dread per turn. Yeah, we gotta do that. Though we'll have to then try to rack up 5,000 gold within the next few turns in order to upgrade the encampment. A lot of money, but I think we're willing to risk it. 1,300 gold ain't too bad to... Oh, is it 2,300? Yeah, it's 2,300 gold, but nonetheless, we'll do that. I think we'll pop this to get the little bit of extra better gores with shields, like so. And then that'll immediately give us the ability to build a couple more. Let's do Ungor Spearman Herd with shields. 4 of those. We have 1 regular spear herd, but we can get rid of it once it takes sufficient damage. We also want to get a few Ungor Raiders. Of course, Taurox's army is not going to be a particularly shooty one, let's say, more of a bully one. Now, as for the victory conditions with this campaign, basically the long campaign victory, the main one, is destroy both Empire and Bretonnia. That's a pretty decent campaign goal, I would think. Obviously, we want to collect the entire family, but that seems relatively easy for this one as well. I think another sub-goal that we're going to have is this. You can acquire the various type of god gores, so pestigores, slangores, tsangores, and corngores, and I would like to have at least one themed army for one of each of the, or for each of the gods. So we'll try to acquire an ally of chaos variety of each type, so that we can have that themed army going for each type as well. I think that'll be fun. You gotta mix it up with the Beastmen, otherwise they get a little bit, stale with their army compositions, as they're a lot more samey in feel than something like the Greenskins, which have a surprising variety. Anyway, let's level everybody up, and we'll make sure to get as much variety going as possible. We're gonna start with Gargantuan Hooves, because we want to move as fast as possible. Favorite of the Skull Throne for Taurox, eh? Interesting. I mean, he may be favored of the Skull Throne, but Taurox isn't actually a corn character. He just is very cornate, let's say. We'll upgrade Devolve for you. And yeah, we'll probably want to get Vile Tide as fast as possible. It's quite an effective spell to spam, even if it is a little bit on the expensive side. Yeah, there's a lot of damage capability here, and ooh, we are losing Winds of Magic, but that's it's okay. Well, let's end the turn, and let's proceed. Let's see if these guys pop up with a new army. Oh, we can't cross the river. I was wondering whether we could just go southward to attack Needling and then back northward, but I don't think so. Let's see what we can reach. Mordheim appears to be full of Skaven, and we probably don't care about that. In the sense that if they're on the way, we'll attack them. Anything that's in Taurox's way, basically, he needs to be destroyed. Now, in Beastmen Ambush you can't reach anything, but in but in Juggernaut Raiding you can. So the question is, do we go up, or do we go to the left, or north, or west here? Question. Krugenheim. So this place will not actually give us any blood ground, meaning we should go around like this and then go here somewhere and then raise a new blood ground, perhaps? Yeah. Alright, that answers that question. Then Taurox are gonna head to Hazelhoff. What do we need to get the replenishment, the infinite movement thing? Cannot replenish movement until a Harsh Rampage is completed. Harsh Rampage is the first one. Alright, so we're already a third of the way to it, to acquiring the massive movement. That ain't bad. Huh, did something already sack this? Or is it, oh, it just got upgraded? Okay, I think we'll auto-resolve this garbage. A little bit of damage, and hello, Gift of Chaos, armor-piercing weapon damage +5, so it's like an inferior version of the Razor Standard banner. Here we will want to... You know, considering we did auto-resolve, we probably want to raise in advance. And no, go that way. Alright, how's our Bestial Rage? It's looking okay. And let's go into Hidden Encampment. We should be able to reach Horno next turn, I would imagine. Wait, can you move any further? This isn't custom movement range, does it? Okay, no, I can't move any further. Alright, that's fine. Wait. Can you go... Ooh, here's a question. Can you go from Juggernaut Raiding Stance into Hidden Encampment? I guess we're gonna have to find out right now. I don't know, but it'll be important to find out. Go here. And yes, you can. Okay, so basically you always want to be in Juggernaut Raiding Stance. Fantastic. Now you're going to briefly go into Hidden Encampment, and let's round out the roster. 2 Ungor Raiders, and I guess that's all we can build, so we'll build the Ungor Herd. Alright, afterwards, skip the rest of this unless I'm mistaken, and assign skill points. And Dreads at 125, which ain't bad. Gotta get it to, what was it, 1500, and we'll unlock our first Legendary Lord? 1200, oh, that's not bad at all. I wonder if they need capacity, or whether it just forces a confederation regardless. I hope that it just forces a confederation regardless of the Lord capacity that you have, because that would be fantastic. If that is indeed the case, we might be able to get all of the Lords of the Beastmen and fight all over the map earlier than in any other campaign. Alright, Taurox, you're ready to go again, so actually just going to regular stance, or actually possibly gathering herds. Do we actually need to fight here? No, Horno is similarly not great. No Slaanesh there, sadly. Stance, gathering herds, go for it, get a little bit of extra XP. And I'm sure these guys are building up an army, so... We'll find it. Gift of Chaos. The armor-piercing weapon damage should probably go on a unit of Gores, or you know what? Actually, I'm going to put it on a unit of Warhounds. And make sure that they delete the enemy backlines that much faster. Scarecrow banner, not going to be super helpful, but a free banner is a free banner. Loot and raise will give us a little bit of money, and we do need a little bit of money. And we won't be able to reach the next place in a single go anyway, so I think we'll go raise, loot and raise, rather than raise in advance. And stop moving that far. Man, you try to get away constantly. Alright, now we can perform the ritual, but we can still get Leiska. And, ooh, Mordheim was available as well. I guess we'll just ignore it. We need as many rituals as possible. Try to go here. And we could stay in raiding stance, which gives us the additional Horde Growth and Bestial Rage. I think we will. I was going to heal up a little bit, but I think we'll be fine. Even if there is an army there, we should be able to take it out. And then we'll need to get a new... get a new Herdstone built, I guess, at Wiedebach? Wiedebach, maybe? And turn for now, and we'll see about it. One of the things I think that'll be really good about the fact that Old World won't let Taurox's infinite momentum and infinite, you know, movement per turn work very well is the fact that we won't be able to essentially win the game before... choked on there for a second. We won't be able to essentially win the game before the enemy gets to tech up and gets better units, which is definitely a possible issue in a normal Taurox campaign. And I'd rather have more fun against more challenging enemies, so we don't necessarily need to move as far and as fast as possible. Taurox, you got more levels, but I guess we'll let you do that next turn. Ooh, just a little bit more Bestial Rage. How do we see... wait. Animosity is making us lose 8. The raiding in foreign soil is making us... well, if we raise one more, we should be able to max it out. Yeah, that Horde Growth is at +10 now. And we need how many points? 2 points to get that Hag Tree Copse. Okay. Working on it, game. Working on it. And plus every turn we pass like this, we get that +25 Dread, which will mean faster unlock. As for which legendary lord should be first, it'll probably be either Malagor or Morgur. Kazrak, unless I'm mistaken, if he starts in the old world similar to where he used to start, is too close to us. And I'd rather have somebody really, really far away, so that we can fight different enemies in different locales. Seems like the more fun way to do it. Anyway, what do we have here? Really nothing much. What do we have in Wiedebach? Where the heck is their army? Well, we'll find it. Gathering herds for you, I guess. Move on in, and then we can pop our first ritual. Isn't really worth fighting, is it? You know what, wait. I want to see if we can see this. I can't see it. Just in case, I think we're gonna fight this one, just for fun, because who knows? Who knows? The start of the game will have a lot of weak enemies, and I'd rather enjoy some of them. I do want to check what we have here. Raising settlements income. We have, post-battle chance of stealing magic items and post-battle loot increase. That's quite nice. And since Taurox isn't a caster, we might actually be able to go into his blue tree, which you don't usually get the chance to do for most legendary lords. I'm not going to risk it at the current time, but it's certainly something to consider. Anyway, Presence of Morsleep, and then let's get you Vile Tide. And there we go. Let's do another quick fight. Alrighty, round 3, and away we go, heading up that hill, and, it seems like, I like the way these guys are crossing, and Taurox just charges right through the enemy battle lines, heading towards the most important enemy combatant, the enemy lord. Very nice, very nice. I'm sure that he'll be able to take him down without any trouble, activating that blood something ability. It's always blood something, isn't it? Bloodbeast ability, there we go. Because he's the Bloodbeast. I should have been able to figure that one out, I gotta admit. But anyway, gonna be a rather inconsequential battle, but nonetheless, so we should be able to... Oh wow, the enemies are already getting absolutely crushed. The mortars are out, the enemy lord is already broken, having faced off against Taurox for, admittedly, almost 30 seconds, so and good for him. And the rest of our units are simply making their way up the hill. Before I got distracted, I was gonna say this is just sort of like the first battle we fought, where the enemy was arrayed up on the hill as well, with superior positioning, but it kind of makes sense for the enemy being Imperial to take a superior position to the Beastmen. Supposed to use all those fancy human tactics and stuff like that. But is their civilization really going to give them that much of an advantage in combat? Somehow I doubt it. Away we go, the Warhounds have chased down and stopped all the enemy range units from firing, and just like that, about, I don't know, a minute and 20 seconds of combat, and the enemy army will break. And by the looks of it, did he just crush him with a roll? He did. He just... wow. He just crushed him with a roll. Fantastic, Taurox. Fantastic. I guess when he balls himself up, he still has so many spikes on him that, yeah. Effective, let's say. Alright, there we go. Very easy little fight, but hey, just for fun. And man, do I love mobile armies. Scratching that Slaanesh itch a little bit. And I'm excited for when we get to fight the slower armies like the Undead and the Dowie, and just to see that disparity in speed and how that works for us. Anyway, we could raise, and that'll allow us to move a little bit further, but I don't think we'll be able to reach the next area anyway, so we're going to go for the loot and raise first. And hey, dude, stop hacking off like that. Oh wow, you've got a fair distance to travel, but oh well. We're gonna pop you in immediately to raiding, and keep moving this way. And oh, we're gonna be just out of the range. I guess I picked the wrong one. But I guess if we go to Wiedebach, then we can raise the Bloodground thing here and destroy everything around here. That's why I want to do the same thing to Talabayam. Yeah, but the thing with Talabayam is, oh well, there is a ford across the river, so we could go up there, though that does probably draw closer to Festus and possibly Kazrak if he's over there. Either way, let's start the first of our rituals. Ritual can now be performed to convert Devastation into Marks of Ruination, so we get 18 Marks of Ruination. We're currently at 0 out of 24, so this won't give us enough for the first level, but that's okay. I want to pop this thing nonetheless. There we go. Scourge of Mankind, Butcher Attrition, and there's that 18 Marks of Ruination. Does that unlock? No, we need 2 of them. Yeah, we need the second one ASAP. I want that Horde Growth increase. It's going to be instrumental. And hello, we are nearly to the level 2 of our Horde Growth, which means we're going to want to get that 5k ASAP. I mean, we always wanted to get the 5k ASAP, but even more ASAP. Let's also go for hoofed heavyweights here to upgrade our Minotaurs a little bit. We'll probably have at least some Gores in this army. I would imagine. Probably Bestigors. I don't want to make it Bestigor heavy, or maybe we can go Chosen Corn Gores in this army. They probably make more sense than a regular Bestigors specifically for Taurox. Otherwise, mostly I just want some variety, or we could just go all monsters in this army. So get Cygors, Incarnate Elementals of Beasts, a couple of Jabberslights and Gorgons, and then and just use those in combination with piles of Minotaurs. It'll be an obnoxious army, but I mean, the legendary lord you use, their army is pretty much always obnoxious, regardless of whichever lord you use. So I think it'll be just fine. And you guys let me know what you think as well. Especially if there are army types that I will not have thought of in terms of combinations, but we'll get to that quite a while later. Alright, and we're nearly there, Taurox. You're getting ready to move again. Let's move you. Yeah, we just out of range of Zitzen. Alright, fine. Moving to Wiedebach, and in fact, if you get really close to this and then raise it, I think you might be able to move and hit both of these anyway. Oh wait, no, go here. Because we'll want to raise the Herdstone here. And then destroy all of this. That includes the Skaven. That'll actually probably make the Empire's life a little bit easier, but hey, they're in our way. And if they're in our way, they gotta be destroyed, and plus we want variety. We need level 8 for our first Regiment of Renown and Ungor Spearman Herd, but otherwise I think we're okay, so that's another quick end turn. 375. Alright, it looks like we won't be able to make enough dread to unlock our first Legendary Lord Confederation in the first episode. But hey, maybe the second. In fact, 99% sure the second will work. And, ooh, Helmet's back, and hello, he's got an army. This might actually make this battle worth fighting. Let's... Okay, wait, how do we want to do this?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Ignore that.
If we burn you down, we won't be able to raise the Herdstone here, which is what we should do. Potential Herdstone region. Which means we should probably attack you. I would have preferred to have fought these guys in the field rather than in a settlement fight, but I don't see how we can avoid it at the current time. Let's get Bestial Surge, I guess. Or we could keep popping points into Devolve and stuff. What's our magic at? Oh, our magics are pretty good in this region. You know what? Get Bestial Surge for now anyway. We'll use the level 1s for now. Taurox, gonna want you to go into Ruination stance. And then attack Wiedebach. Pyrrhic Victory, eh? They're not gonna sally. What's the likelihood that they'd sally out? Probably low. I really don't want to waste a turn. And we could definitely win if we just attack it. What's the likelihood that they sally out? I just really feel like this would be a much better battle on the field, but they're probably too cowardly. This is Pyrrhic Victory, and if we attack the walls, which means, yeah, they're not gonna sally. There's no way. And which means I guess we're going to fight them the old-fashioned way. Without a ram, it's going to take a while to break through that wall again. But at the same time, at least this way we won't lose our movement range or speed. Alright, away we go then. Alright, here we go. Another day, another siege, and I'm glad to see that the sieges are working for this particular campaign, as in the siege cinematics. Also, I think it's going to be a long time before I get tired of watching Taurox just charge things. It's very nice. There you go, buddy. And speed yourself up as you activate your charge and go for that gate and start knocking it down. Gonna take a little bit of time to do so, but we're working on 2 gates rather than 1, unlike the previous siege battle, which, well, it won't make it go twice as fast, but we will have 2 breaches in the enemy defenses once we're done. Now, we are going to speed it up, and yeah, that's going to take a while, as it usually does. Fortunately, the rest of our army is completely hidden, and due to their stock ability, and they'll move up there when they're good and ready. We're probably going to send a few units of Gors up, or Ungors, we have no Gors. Going to send a few units of Ungors up the enemy walls, but by and large, most of our units will be fighting on the ground. It'll probably be the Minotaurs doing most of the work, though. There's a concerning amount of pikes, halberds, and range units here, so I do imagine that the enemy army will still be reasonably threatening. Although just how threatening, we shall see. The Bloodbeast moves in and starts on the enemies with his first little coterie of Minotaurs. Focusing first the enemy crossbows to make sure that they cannot fire, as they're going to be threatening. He activates that Bloodbeast ability, causing an explosion all around, such that only the worthy may remain, and just continues slaughtering and hacking his way through his enemies. I think in comparison to Grimgore, Taurox is more happy to just indiscriminately slaughter everything, regardless of how difficult the opponent is. I mean, the Beastmen, as a faction, and just despise civilization and want to cast down the cities of men. Grimgore, he just wants a good fight. He gets bored. He doesn't bother in going and just casting down a city unless he thinks it'll be a really good scrap. Kind of like when he was fighting the Skaven for ages in his lore and then just got bored and marched away. And they did a similar thing, I think, for... I don't remember if it was Kislev or the Empire. It's been a while since I've read Grimgore's lore, but yeah, that one's a really good fight. Whereas Taurox, I guess, a little bit corrupted by Khorne at the very least, or at the very least favored by Khorne, and thus he does not discriminate. The blood must flow. Alrighty, and the blood is certainly flowing, though in this particular case the blood of some of our Minotaurs has begun to flow as well, as one of our Minotaurs' units has gone down to about half HP. We're going to back it out and allow the Ungors to take some of the enemy range hits to them, mostly because we don't care about what happens to the Ungors. We can sacrifice every single one and we'll just rebuild them in a single turn. But the Minotaurs are going to be difficult to reacquire for a while, so we're definitely going to want to avoid losing or taking too much damage to any of their units. Some of the Ungor spears have made their way up on the walls now, getting a little bit of support from the Ungor raiders below, though I'm sure a few of those arrows are smacking right in to the other Ungors. But once again, we hardly care. And the other gate has also been broken through, with our Beret Shaman leading the way into the enemy ranks with the other two units of Minotaurs. And pikes and halberds aside, which the enemy has plenty of, it's almost like this garrison was specifically designed to fight our army, but it's probably not going to be good enough. Also, since we're making our way this way already, it's probably a good idea to just try to head towards Altdorf and see if we can't find KARL, or at least start moving as quick or as close as possible to Altdorf. We'll see if we can manage it. Ooh, well, if it isn't an Empire captain daring to face off against Taurox, granted daring with plenty of swordsmen and other units backing him up, but I'm just not sure. And that's gonna be enough. The Empire captain, I think, has been deleted and crushed by that roll of Taurox. Huh, interesting. And that's the second time. It seems like Taurox likes to deliver the finishing blow by rolling through the enemy. And I guess exploding them. And not in a good way. Ornate giggle. Alrighty, how are we doing? Balance of power is still in the enemy's favor, and we've certainly taken a lot of damage on some of our Ungor units and a few of our Minotaurs, but more and more of the little guys are streaming in to help the Minotaurs out. And we should start gaining the advantage here relatively soon. As long as those Minotaurs remain alive, and at least these two aren't taking nearly as much damage as the ones that followed Taurox in did. But hey, following Taurox into combat is bound to lead you into the most dangerous areas of the fray. Anyway, looks like the second gate's defenders have been broken, and we're going to head down to join Taurox in a massive horde of goats and bulls, and try to head directly into the center of the enemy settlement. We've also found the enemy lord with the unit of Minotaurs here and Taurox, who's trying to batter his way through his minions. There we go. Rolling on in, and we gotta start that fight. Now that's a brave lord facing off against Taurox and a bunch of Minotaurs whacking away at him. A very nice swing there. He's down to about half HP, and he's... How are you exhausted? You haven't been fighting for long. Oh, it's because you have range ability, meaning that he's been firing this entire time. It looks like the enemy lord calls for backup, some halberds and pikes, or just pikes actually, to add to that Warhammer that he has. Roll credits. But we've already seen the effectiveness of mere pikemen against those bulls, and especially with Taurox knocking like a dozen of them away with every swing of his axes. It just ain't gonna be enough. How's Taurox doing? Up to nearly 200 kills. Very, very nice, and that's considering he's spent a lot of time killing the enemy Empire Captain and fighting the enemy Lord. Still plenty of kills just by virtue of pure splash damage. And another of that Bloodbeast activations comes in. More Minotaurs stream in, and I do believe we're about to get joined by the rest of our forces here. Just broke down an enemy barricade that was preventing the Bray Shaman from joining the fray. And now we just have to get to the enemy range units that were in the center of the enemy settlement. All of these guys that were annoying us so much and damaging our precious Minotaurs. Of course, as the enemy handgunners and crossbows fire at us, we still have arrows from our own Ungors arcing overhead, as the Ungors, or at least some of them, have taken position on top of the enemy walls. They've also gotten some damage on them from the mortars, but it looks like they remain alive. A vile tide heralds the arrival of our Minotaurs and Taurox into the fray, and that devolve comes down on the enemy as well. Man. You gotta admit that the spells of the Beastmen are quite cinematic looking. I like the green fog as they all move in and trample their foes. Though by the looks of it, the fun and the trampling is soon to be over as the balance of power shifts to 100% in our favor, and under the dark reign of that devolving spell, the battle is ours. A Pyrrhic victory perhaps because of the damage dealt primarily to our Ungors, but, well, I'm not sure that that will be of any consequence, because once again, they're merely Ungors. Alright, free pathetic little sword of might for Taurox and another 75 dread. We'll be raising another herdstone here as well, and we're at 5k, which means while we're waiting here, or just outside of here in fact, go here, go to hidden encampment, nice, and then immediately build up your egg tree copse for 5k. A bit on the expensive side, but it's, well, it's what we need, and we'll need a bit more to unlock a few things. Those Razor Gores and Hounds of Pestilence would be nice. We need tier 4 to actually have the ability to build more Minotaurs, so that's going to take quite a bit of time, and we'll have to content ourselves with the usage of Gores until then. Income from raiding party. We should probably also build one of those, but eventually. We're almost halfway to our first lord. Nice. Nice indeed. Taurox, you've got a point available to you. I guess we'll keep going through Hoofed Footfalls, and ooh. What do we have here? Blood Collar, melee attack for Minotaur units, and gives you cause terror. You're telling me Taurox doesn't normally cause terror? Really, you see this guy coming at you, and it doesn't cause terror? Okay, well, we got some brave souls in the world of Warhammer Fantasy Battle. Bullish Metal gives you more melee defense and ward save, and melee defense for the Minotaurs. I'm inclined to say that Bullish Metal and Herd Lord is probably superior. By and large, I would imagine the attack on the bulls or the Minotaurs is much easier to raise than their defenses, which means we want to put as many points into their defense as possible. We get more melee attack and weapon strength out of the Bestial Butchers here, after all. This gives us a little bit of defense, but it's even with attack. So yeah, Bullish Metal seems in the superior way. We will, however, start with Fueled by Blood because it applies to everybody in the army. What does Gouge Tusks do? Okay, no, it's only buffs for Taurox. Not that that's a bad thing, mind you. Alright, looking pretty okay. Don't even need to check diplomacy. Let's stay here for a turn, or raise a few more things and keep on going. I guess we'll want to hit Talabheim ASAP as well, or at least more or less ASAP. Might as well just destroy this faction for good, or we could leave them semi-alive and then take our time to destroy those various beastmen. Oh, we're the various beastmen. Although there's only room for one beastman. Okay, but no. The Skaven which are just rat-like beastmen after all. Anyway, the Dark Moon. Oh, I remember this. It's been so long since I played the Beastmen. I think Kazarak was one of the earliest campaigns on this channel, but I still remember this. Morslebe is ascendant, usurping the sun's revered place in the firmament. The world is awash with its sick and terrible hue. Such an event is almost unheard of. It is a call to the Beastmen, a sign that the herd has an opportunity to dominate. Lead them, Beast Lord. Seize glory. Alright, so when one falls, gives us all damage unit will be fully replenished for a turn, but it's only for 2 turns. Endless Herd gives us horde growth and a massive increase of raiding income. And I think that's the one we're going to take just for the horde growth. Ooh. Alternatively, 75 dread per turn. That's actually not a crazy amount, though. It's not bad, but it ain't crazy. I'm inclined to say the growth is probably superior. Although the dread does tempt me, I'm not gonna lie, but you know what? We're gaining pretty okay dread. This is equivalent to about 3 settlements, so I think Endless Herd is the way to go. The herd swells and grows, endlessly it seems. In a herd of such size, each beast demands much flesh and recompense. Endless Herd. Alright, Taurox, you're good to go now, yes? Oh, I probably could have actually replaced a few of the units here, but I think it's fine either way. What are the defenders like at Talabheim? I'm sure there are some, but more likely than not, we'll probably just auto-resolve them to death. Can't reach it in one go. But that's okay. Get as close to it as we can. And we'll loop back around to Zetzen and... Ooh, 784 per turn? Yeah, that's nice. That's real nice. Can't waste any turns not raiding, then. I have the positioning of Talabheim as well. Quite nice, nestled in these mountains as well. Anyway, that ritual is locked. We can build one of these, but we're not spending the cash. Alright, now let's end the turn, take Talabheim, and keep on moving. Oh, they do have another settlement here. Maybe I should have gone after you first, but whatever. I think if we had, we wouldn't have been able to take advantage of the raiding, and we do need plenty of money. Clan Skull. I think this is... Wait, no. Septic is up here. I don't remember if Skull is here or here. I guess it doesn't really matter, because more likely than not, we're just going to destroy them anyway. This is Taurox, after all. He is probably not to be negotiated with. I think of the Beastmen Lords, I mean, obviously, no Beastmen will negotiate, but Taurox is probably the least likely. Hey, Razor standard if we recruit 30 new units. Alright, we can certainly do that. Let's get you into Ruination stance briefly. Let's also buff you up with another point in... both Vile Tide and Devolve. Or do we want Brace Scream as well? What's our mana at now? 90. We can certainly cast a lot more. Or we could get Trader... I mean, really we want every single spell. Let's get a little bit of everything. And then we'll test it out and see how they all perform, and then pick which one we keep based on that. Alright, we just fought a battle with much better units in the garrison, so I think there's no need to fight it again. Auto-resolve it. And we're going to actually have to... Ooh, 1,000 gold. It does tempt me, but I think we want to advance. And heal up, because of the auto-resolve. Yeah, clearly. And a Ritual of Ruin available for Avidebach, which is great. It will... Wait. 0 out of 24. What are we at currently? We're at 18, so whenever we pop it, we'll be able to unlock the Dread rewards for these guys. But I guess we can wait a little bit. Embrace Shaman's Familiar. Nice. A Filth Mace. Enables magical attacks, which Taurox doesn't automatically have, so we'll have that on ya. And I guess we'll give the Sword of Might to you until we can get a Wargore. And this gives the ability to apply Corroded Armor, reducing enemy armor by 30. Huh. Well, once we have a Nurgle-themed army, that'll certainly be a decent option as well. Damn, we are still in our own territory, eh? I'm wondering whether we should move down to Zitzen and then go through all these Skaven territories. These guys will recover by the time we're up here. And wait, actually, out of curiosity. Wiedebach. Okay, you will only gain stuff from these ones. And you, Krugenheim, not that we really care about this blood ground anymore. You can't gain stuff from here because your ritual is completed, so yeah, we don't really care about the stuff up here. Which means that decides it for us, we're going to Zutzen. And I guess what we'll also want to do is go into encampment. To heal up a little bit. I really wish that we were in our own territory, but we're just off. Alright, let's do that. And then we'll want to build, well, I guess one more Ungor. And we have room to build one more, so we'll delete you, sir. And we'll build a, I don't know, build another Warhound. I feel like these guys will be replaced over time quite a bit. Until we can get the Hounds of Pestilence for the Razor Gores. I believe that's it, right? And, ooh. Can't get the Days of Wrath yet, but we're working on it. Also, how much to build any of these things? 6k to build a Scorched Grass Plain, 4k to build the Den, and 6k to build the Pit Hovel. That's okay. And yeah, we could get more capacity for more stuff, but I'd really rather save as much dread as possible for the next Legendary Lord unlock. Oh! The Empire just confederated a... I don't know if that was Middenland. I think it was Middenland. It wasn't Nordland, because this is way too far south for Nordland. Well, whatever was down here just got confederated. And this guy's back, but not for long. Well, I guess it's not their main lord, but... he's still not back for long. And that won't change all that much. Beastmen campaign, yeah, it was Middenland. Beastmen campaigns feels so different from other types. It's quite interesting. Hey, you can reach the place. Fantastic. Away you go, sir. Quick little auto-resolve, then we'll head down to Kemperbad and all these Skaven territories. Yes, it'll be good for the Empire, but it'll also be good for us. Armor plus 10 for the Gift of Chaos. And you can't move any further. I guess we'll want to heal up in advance. This isn't actually all that much money. It's just raise in advance. No, don't go that way. Stop doing that, dude. Go into raiding stance. And then proceed to Kemperbad, which does indeed count. And ooh, there's an army nearby. Yes, please. Alright, stay here, heal up, destroy. I think we can get one more battle out of this first episode. We're already running out of time, but I'm having fun here. Yeah, let's go Bullish Metal, and then Herd Lord. I suppose we can always reset if needed. If anything, we need more missile resistance for the for these guys. Melee defense plus 5 versus melee attack. Yeah, just get the melee defense plus 5. Then we'll get another melee attack plus 4 out of Hooved Heavyweights. Alright, you. Get a point in Brace Scream. Now that you have all the abilities, you can get the points into the ones that we will use the most. Beautiful. And the weapon strength increase is about to be up and running as well. And turn. Now, Mr. Noctwitch, you're not possibly going to Zutzen, are you? Oh, no, you're going to get destroyed by the Empire. Oh, I do wonder if KARL is right there. I mean, it was only a matter of time until we declared war on the Empire, after all. Man, how close are we to our first rampage thing? I'd really love that movement increase thing. We'll find out in a few seconds. Please tell me this is KARL.
A quest has been issued, mighty lord. A great adventure beckons. Be wary, though, for while the potential rewards are great, so too are the...
Yeah, perils are great. Well, you know what? Taurox loves perils. Ooh, reinforcements, and the enemy has some Harganeth Executioners and plenty of Dark Shards and Shades. We'll need a little bit of a better army before we take that on. Unhappy populace. Oh no. Whatever will we do? Unhappy populace game. Were you kidding? Though the idea is entertaining. Alright, so what we need to see. Is KARL here? Yes, he is. Yes, he damn well is. Now, this is going to be a great fight to round out the episode, I think. And we're definitely gonna do it. Let's pop ourselves into... Oh, we can't reach him in Ruination stance? Really? Wait, not Ruination. Gathering... Ooh. Do we want attrition against... Or not attrition, rampage against KARL's army? I'm sure we'll be fine. Do it anyway. Gathering herds it is. Gain a little bit of extra XP. And hit Kemperbad. Actually, wait. You are currently at war with Warherd of the One Eye and Clan Skull. Well, this does mean that Kazraik is still alive. What we can do here is request...
Come to the clan.
Wait,
What could we do for
Beastmen can trade? Orcs can't trade, but Beastmen can trade. That's what you're telling me right now, game. Huh. That's interesting. I wasn't aware of that, but okay. We're going to request to join the war against Reichland for money. 2.5k. This may be a good reason to actually... Wait, just out of curiosity. 4.8k. Okay, yeah, there's a reason to keep a few factions alive, and that reason is gaining massive amounts of cash for declaring war on their enemies. Alright, Skaven, you may have just gotten yourselves a short reprieve from death until we come back around and destroy you. But for now, as long as you're willing to give tribute to the Dark Gods, we're willing to do a few things. In fact, wait, let's talk to them again briefly. For all of this, but not the agreement, you're willing to give us 2k. Okay, wait, what about just for the trade agreement? Willing to give us 1.5k. You know what, I think we'll let them live. And then destroy them later. We need the money right now. What about the non-aggression pact? How much money will you give us? Not enough. Okay, so we'll possibly do that next turn? Wait, what about the non-aggression pact without trade? Ah, there we go. That's the way to do it. Non-aggression pact. We'll do other stuff later. Nice. And, wow, the Beastmen had a signed non-aggression mission. Well, cute. Cute. What else is gonna be cute? KARL's corpse littering the ground in pieces. Well, what do we have here? His first Reichsguard, a pile of swordsmen, great swords. KARL himself, of course, is a devastating combatant. We'll have to watch out for those handgunners ripping into our minotaurs, but I'm reasonably confident we've got this just fine. We'll get a little bit of extra armor on one of our unshielded minotaurs, I think. They don't actually have a lot of armor, the minotaurs, so they will need it. Otherwise, away we go. Alright, well it looks like Taurox yelled something, but I couldn't quite catch it. He might have yelled it in his Beastman tongue anyway, so I guess it won't matter. Anyway, here we go. I am so happy that we have found KARL FRANZ himself on this first episode. Going to be a heck of a conclusion to this first go with the Bully Boys, and thinking that it's a good omen for better things to come. Anyway, the battle's going to start with the Reichsguard charging in towards our spear-wielding Ungor spears. Spear-wielding Ungor spears, as opposed to, you know, the sword-wielding Ungor spears. Well, I suppose they could have a sidearm in theory, but anyway, we're going to try our best to destroy those Reichsguard because other than KARL, they're going to be the biggest threat on the map. 2 units of Ungor spears will be used to deal with them. The Ungor spears that took the charge, and another unit to hit the enemy in the back and keep them from running, while the Minotaurs here do armor-piercing damage to hopefully knock them out. Otherwise, the goal here is to prevent as many of the enemy massive piles of range units from firing, so we're moving plenty of Ungors either through or around the enemy formations to try to engage all those range units, whether they be archers, crossbows, free company, what have you. We also have Taurox right in the middle of everything. He tried to go for KARL, but looks like KARL called for aid as an Empire Captain joined him. But we'll deal with the Empire Captain quickly, distract the enemy, and then go back towards fighting KARL. In fact, the Empire Captain... Did he already die? Damn, that was quick. Okay, well, Taurox, you're already getting pretty scary, buddy. And it looks like you're going to be facing off against KARL, though KARL is already at half HP, and it looks like the Warhammer itself will not be enough to deal with those rune-tortured axes. And I love it when they knock back their own units. Anyway, KARL is very much in trouble now, and I'm sure while he is still willing to fight, he'll be breaking shortly. Now let's check back on the rest of the battle here. Halberdiers and pikes together facing off against minotaurs and ungors, but it looks like this portion of the battle is also going our way. Over in the background, the various types of warhounds have moved in, though they have also activated their rampage or gone into rampage. They have at least gone into rampage while fighting a massive pile of enemy archers and crossbows. Every single one of those is not a unit of archers or crossbows that is attacking our units of minotaurs. Another unit of Empire archers having been obliterated by the warhounds, and it looks like at least everywhere where the minotaurs are leading, the battle is going in our way. Or going our way, rather. Hardly surprising. This is why we allowed the minotaurs to lead the against the biggest blobs of enemy infantry, while the smaller units separated and went for the enemy range units. Looks like the Reiksguard are also broken, and KARL is down to about 15% HP or something along those lines. He's broken. I think he will come back, but I'm not sure for too long, as he'll only survive maybe 1 or 2 hits from Taurox and the rest of his army. Seeing both the Reiksguard and their Emperor attempt to flee the field of battle are not having a particularly good day. Oh, and there we go. KARL tries to charge back in, but too little, too late. The rest of the army shatters, and the battle is ours. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And it looks like we managed to prevent ourselves from losing too many, if any, units. A few of the warhounds got badly damaged, but, you know, that's due to, at least in part, to the rampage. A little bit of damage on some ungors. The minotaurs are by and large okay, and have lost not too much more than a single unit. Very nice. Anyway, we're going to chase them down a little bit, and wait, we don't actually need to chase them down. I lied, it's a settlement battle. Alright, very, very nice. Taurox absolutely dominating KARL in single combat there, though his personal Reiksguard did well, getting 105 kills and decimating one of our units of Ungors. Otherwise, we didn't take all that much damage, and I'm happy with that result. We've got, let's say, plenty of damage on the Warhounds, though the Rampage on them is really quite the setback. I guess we raise the place. I keep getting tempted by the Bestial Rage bonuses, but can't say no to the casualty replenishment rate, so raise in advance. Don't run so far away, buddy. I know you wanna, but don't. And how close are we to threatening Altdorf? It's actually fairly close, and I think perhaps... Ooh, and we can cross into enemy territory? Oh, that's lovely. That is absolutely lovely. We'll go here, then. We'll go here into enemy territory, gain bonus money out of raiding, take a Grunberg, head deeper into the Empire, perform our second ritual, ignoring the Skaven here, and activating the Blood Ground. And there we go. Defeated KARL FRANZ gives us Sora leadership unit experience and terror when fighting against Empire. Well, I guess we won't need the terror point against the Empire at the very least, though it's not a particularly crazy buff. Harsh Rampage achieved as well, very nice, and a free Skull of Catan, which gives us a Hex and Spell Mastery. Oh, it's not bad. Damage to self, but it's okay. And hey, Destroyers of the Drakewall. Damn, we're getting a lot of rewards for that, and the challenge completed, and giving us the additional growth challenge. Brayherd's Ascend Slaughterhorn Tribe. And the gaze of the dark gods is upon you. Damn well it should be. And following your previous ritual of ruin, your tribe has received marks of ruination, yada yada yada. We've read that already, but now we have enough for things. And ruination level 2 gives us army capacity, does it? Meaning we can recruit a second lord. We don't really need to, because in only 400 dread, as in a few turns, we'll be able to get Malagor, Kazarak, or or a Morgur. Morgur is my favorite of the Beast Lords, so I think we'll go for Morgur, but I'm willing to be convinced of any of them, so you guys let me know who you think we should be recruiting first. Let's get that Days of Wrath and get that Horde growth up and running as well, and we'll head deeper into the Empire and hopefully raise the special Herd Stone at Altdorf next time around. I believe there's a special Herd Stone at Altdorf, or at the very least there damn well should be. Anyway, with that, unfortunately, we are out of time. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying this first round of bullying. Plenty more bullying to go as we head deeper into the Empire and acquire all those lords, so stay tuned for more Taurox, and don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.